All right, here we go. So I want to welcome everyone to our Foundation for Conscious Living's Big Leap Home community. And I'm Michelle Yasuda. If you don't know me, I'm the program director for the Big Leap Home online programs. And these programs support individuals and organizations and communities in generating agency, connection, and creativity on our shared planet. And this call that you're on is one of the ways that we express this vision and this mission. And so I just have a few logistics I'm going to go over first, and then I'm going to hand this call over because I'm really excited about this topic. And I'm sure you are too. That's why you're here. And so before I turn the call over, I want to invite you all into a commitment. So when you listen to these words, notice how they land in your body. We find that learning works best when we choose to bring curiosity, openness to learning, and appreciation of ourselves and others into the space. So, yeah, I love that. So I am now in the tradition that we have in the Big Leap Bridge. I'm going to hand over the call after I give an appreciation to our facilitator. And so, Diana, what can I appreciate about you today? I think the thing that comes to mind immediately is your enthusiasm, your bubbly, like this feeling of optimism that's grounded in here I am in this reality, and I'm open to infinite possibilities. And I just feel that in you whenever I'm around you. And I love you and appreciate you so much. And I'm really excited about tonight. So I'm going to turn it over, and please let everybody get to know you a little bit. So what you do in the world and all of that.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for that appreciation, Michelle. Wow. Oh, mwah. Well, I am really excited. I was thinking about you all day and all week and all month. Really just so delighted and excited to be with you and to share something that is dear to my heart that I love. And in hopes that it could be inspiring for you or just curious to hear how any of this lands and what you're already doing in these regards. But a little bit about me, I forgot to tell you about me, a little bit about me. Well, how I really came to these processes that I'm going to talk about tonight was through the challenges of motherhood, actually. So I am a coach. I'm a big leap coach, and I've been coaching people for a long time. Before that, I was trained to be a midwife and have attended people in birth for about 27 years. So that was my first love. And actually in that birth work, we did a lot of visioning. Many of you have heard of birth plans. You may have made one. We do a lot of visioning about what we might want to experience. And of course, we then have to be willing to let that go, to be with whatever comes. But I found it was really powerful to just even have been asked the question, what do you want? It was, and to have some feeling of empowerment or able to choose in a situation that is, unknown. And even if, we don't get to have what we want, the act of thinking about and designing and desiring and dreaming and visioning is just so important to us as human beings, I think. So that I think this really started there, visioning what we might want. And then when I became a mom, I found all kinds of all kinds of challenges. The mom that I wanted to be was way up here. I had done a lot of studying, and then what I felt like I could actually achieve when I was, hungry angry, lonely, tired, was way down here. And it really put me on this path of just devouring any learning that I could get within myself and from others. What's this like for you? How are you doing this? And wanting to know the truth about what people were experiencing on the inside, and how I could dream my big dreams of how I wanted to live my life with my children and my family and my own hopes and dreams, and be able to manage the space between where it felt like I was not there yet and where I wanted to be. And which leads me to a reason why I think a lot of people don't take time to think about what they want and really put energy there, because it can be painful to think about what we really want and look at what we actually have and feeling that rub. So I will want to talk a lot more about that too. So motherhood definitely brought lots of challenges for me in that way, and it opened me up to so many possibilities. So I found that I had a couple of choices. I had done my visioning of what I wanted, found that I was having challenges actually implementing it. And then it seemed like a fork in the road appeared, and I could go down the path of blame, self-abuse, and shame, and go down that spiral. Or I could recommit to my vision, or shift it, or open to new possibilities of what's possible from here. What do I want? And how could I blow on the embers of what that might be? So this class is designed to help you. Well, actually, I love the timing of this, because we're midway through the year, and many people become very aware of what they want to create or what they want in the beginning of the year, the infamous New Year's resolutions. And usually we only have a few weeks, maybe a month in us to really get those things underway. So I like to have lots of times throughout the year to play with what I'm wanting to create. And of course, new things come up, but sometimes I get seeds of possibility that do arise in the beginning of the year. So what I hope to offer are processes for you to use again and again and revisit throughout the year. But this is a perfect time because it's midpoint through the year. So if there were things that you wanted in the beginning of the year that maybe you fell off of, which, by the way, one of the things I love about the Hendricks work is their focus on recommitting, that how we think our growth happens or getting to what we want happens is in a straight line, point A to point B. And that is not how it happens. We go over here, we recommit, oh, we get challenged, we forget, we get lost in the weeds, we come back to it. So that process of recommitting, and maybe even refining, because we think of what we want and then we get it and we want something else, or maybe we didn't get it and we decide that there's some refinements we might want to make. And so that's all part of this delicious process. So there's that. I kind of went off on me and why we're doing this all mixed into one. So hopefully you all followed that. Is there any questions or thoughts thus far before we move on? Okay. Are you excited to craft your delight-driven life? Yay. Oh, I love it. Okay, so there are a couple of, so that's the other thing I wanted to mention. This process helps me to focus on what I want to create instead of what I'm not enjoying or I don't want. And that was a huge shift for me in motherhood. I became a little overly focused, I would say, on the things that I didn't want, what I wanted to keep out. And some of those things were important. And I've still, no plastic, no this, no that. But I became aware that that is not the best space to create in. It is important for you to know what your no's are, and those can really inform what you want to create. But I found that I needed something more. I needed to describe more of what it is that I want. What am I here for? What do I want to experience? And sometimes it could be specific and other times not so much. So one of the handouts a resource that we have, the Essence Qualities page, I don't know if it's already on, if you guys can they see something we posted earlier? No? So I wanted to put this up here because in the beginning, we're going to start broad and then go more specific. In the beginning, I'd like to give this example that might seem trivial. And it was a long time ago. My youngest just graduated high school, actually. So this was a long time ago. They were small, a sleepover was happening, and I found myself in this mama fretting zone of not wanting anyone to feel left out or not wanting, the things I didn't want, my fears, what I didn't want. And I was catching myself. And of course, we can't control how people feel, what they're doing, all the things that I was fearing were things that I couldn't control. And so I was able to catch it and move into a space of, well, what do I want to create here? What is the feelings, the essence, the experience that I really want these kids to feel when they're here? And I wrote them on a sticky note. It was something like, warm, fun or playful, safe. And I wrote them on a sticky note and put them on the fridge so that I could focus on like I wanted to infuse the space, I wanted to feel these ways. I wanted anyone that was in our home to feel these ways. And just those words and the energy that came with them helped me to sort of flavor, I guess, the space. And it was so cute because one of the kids saw that sticky note on the fridge and said, "Mom, that's you. That's our house. That's what we have." And I thought, wow, okay, well, I guess this works. so, so I like to pick three words from, and the Essence Qualities handout just has some really great words of things that, like, for most recently for my daughter's graduation, I wanted to be able to enjoy fully the whole process and to be able to have a sense of adventure. I tend to get sometimes a little bit nutted up when I have lots of guests coming and the timing of things, and I wanted to get it right. And this helps me to ground into what I do, what I really want to experience, what I really want to flavor at the space with or the experience with. And there's something about it's broad enough that there's not a lot of resistance that I end up throwing at it when I pick some words that just really embody what I want more of or what I want to focus on. So I would love to give you a few minutes to, and everything on the list sounds fantastic. I mean, every word we want, but I would love to give you just a few moments to look at the list and see what calls to you. What are you yearning for when you see those words? What in your body kind of opens up or feels sparkly or lights up about when you read some of those words? And feel free to pop them in the chat or raise a hand and share if you feel so called. I don't know why I like to pick in threes. You can pick as many as you want, but three is kind of a fun number. I'll look at one too. Beauty is a huge one for me. You can't see this right now, but there are a bunch of peonies right here and a rose over here, and beauty just makes me feel so good. And it's more than just what it looks like to me. There's a soul quality to beauty that just is one that I just is always right there. And lately, I am wanting to bring in more efficiency. So efficiency is feeling really exciting to me. So you can just look through these. Oh, beauty, trust, and wonder. Oh, another beauty fan. Yes. The others. Courage and adventure are other words that really come in. Oh, abundance, patience, surrender. Beauty, flow, transformation, harmony, gratitude, courage, beauty, delight, focus. Ooh. Mm. Oh, this is so fun for me. openness, spaciousness, truthfulness. Oh, yeah. Mm. Self-love, integrity, passion, communication, curiosity. Yes, yes, yes. Presence. Yeah. I love all the beauty fans in the room. Yeah. So I like to, some of these might be some of your overall guiding um, qualities that you want to bring in that are like your overall life that really they really help also to inform purpose of which is something that I think right now is so important because there's so much coming at us all the time that we have a tendency. What I notice with my clients is that many people feel rudderless. They really are going in whatever direction their attention has been pulled rather than choosing and moving in a direction of their choosing. And so I think that these essence qualities are really linked to our purpose and what we want to create and be in the world. And so there are some that are just always there. And then I like to look and think about like, what would I like to bring in, or what do I want to play with in my relationship right now, or in my family life, or with money? And really looking at some different areas and thinking about what I might want to infuse those areas with in this with these words and qualities. Are you noticing that there's a resonance, there's a feeling that comes with the word when you look at it or speak it that lands in your body in a certain way, or that just sort of lights up certain circuitry for you? Yeah, I noticed that too, and I think that it's soft enough that we don't fight it too much, which is nice. So this is that broad view of just larger, broader view as we're moving down into the more focused of like, how do we actually live what's most important to us? How do we actually fit into a day with all the things that we have to do, what's most important to us? And that is, it's a moment by moment choice, but there are some tricks. So looking at these words and starting to think about what is it? What is it that delights you, that lights you up, that you love, that you're pulled toward, drawn to? Your vital life force moving through you is so important to your well-being and the well-being around you. So being able to access some of that and have that pull through us and through those words to begin with is super helpful. What's harder sometimes I notice for people, maybe not all of you, is coming up with, well, what do I want? What do I want right now? What do I want in my life in general, in specific areas? And sometimes people don't know. A lot of times people don't know. And sometimes we know more of what we don't want, or what we are not currently enjoying, or what is appearing as a problem, more than we know what we do want. And that's totally okay. That is great. That has its own zing to it. That has its own energy to it. So if you want to start with what you don't want to experience, you're not enjoying, what feels like a problem, that's okay to start there and just flip it and turn it into what the opposite is, what it is that you actually do want. And I really love that exercise. When I write down what I'm not enjoying, what I don't want, and then open my mind and heart up to, well, what is it that I actually do want? Just by flipping it, that's the simplest way for me to do it when I find myself being a little stuck, is to just be in what I don't want and then allow what I do want to come from there. So, and I was thinking for today, how many of you, raise your hand if you feel like it would be helpful to have like a little time to, Michelle, do we do breakout rooms in this? Is that possible?
I can do that. Yeah.
If people, I'd love to know if people would like to have a chance to get into a breakout room and play with what is it that you want? What would you like to, what are you wanting more of right now in your life? It sounds like I'm seeing some heads nodding. So like that, people are into that. Okay. So because I think it would be, what I would love is that you leave here today with a little more of, our lives are so busy, and I feel so happy seeing all of your faces here with me doing this. And it's not easy to get that time to actually think about and to have this collective field and all of our attention on it. So I'd love to get as much as you can from that by actually getting a chance to hone in on, just even just one thing that you might want to create more of, and then we'll come back and play with it. So what do you think, Michelle, about just putting people in pairs? Do we and I'll go into a room. And how was that? I was, yeah, I really had a great time with that. And it's funny because as I was preparing, I didn't really think about what I do a lot of this frequently, but I realized, so for me right now, what I want, and if you were, whatever you did in your breakout room is perfect. And if you forgot, or if you did, however it was, is perfect. What I like to do, what I would love for you to have, is this idea of a sentence or two that kind of illustrates what it is that you want to experience. So that could look like, for me right now, I am feeling really pulled to come into my body in a new way. I have accumulated a little layer in my middle that I would like to release. And I would like to release it lovingly while appreciating my body for all the goodness that it gives me, but getting stronger and leaner, and really making food choices that are really supportive for my body in a way that, and I want to have a good time doing it. So that was that was one. And then the other one you might think is mundane, but I think this stuff really works. I was craving more order in my papers and my books right now, that I'd like to come in there and really just have more order with my paperwork and my books. That I love that feeling of flow that happens when I can really easily find what I need and have materials that inspire me available to me. So so those were two that I had. Oh, I am with you. I am not alone. It's always nice to know that, isn't it? We are not alone. So yeah, so if anyone has, and I'm wondering if you noticed that the way that I worded what I wanted was in a positive way, and something that I might like to say or revisit that feels good to me. So whatever it is that you're wanting to create, sometimes in the earlier stages when I was doing this work, I would suss out some self-criticism that was in my in whatever it was that I was wanting to create, that I was like, well, I guess it's my fault I haven't done this already, or there was just a little sense of self-criticalness that would come in. And so I really love the idea of opening up to what's possible for us to create, and in a friendly way. So am hoping that you will be friendly with yourselves as well as you're looking to create what you want to create. Does anybody want to share what they're wanting to create for? And I want to, while you're thinking about that, I'm really excited because I got the new deck, that Gay's new deck, and I pulled out, we had talked about how crafting your delight-driven life with what you really want, what's important to you most out in front, and what's pulling your attention and what you want to create. This card on true manifestation says, when you figure out what you want, the first relevant question is, will you let it be possible for you? Thought that was pretty cool. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Yeah, those are the cards. I'm really loving them. They just came in the mail today, and I'm just already loving them. So Anyone else wanting to talk about what they want to create? It can be simple, it can be big, it can be a big dream or a small dream. And if it feels like you don't want to share it, that's okay too. And if you want to feel bold and do that, we'll all give you our energy toward it as well.
Actually have a question.
Hmm.
It, I mean, I have some dreams, but I think what I'm more curious about is these essence words. So I picked some essence words, and I'm thinking there must be a way of either some questions around like digging out further. What does that word really mean to you? Or kind of if going at it from the essence words into the creation versus just here's what I want to create, and maybe these essence words are floating around in there.
So,
or even a way of working with them too, like meditating with the words, or just ways of playing and bringing them forward more.
sure. Yes, I would love to share with you one of the things that I've learned is that all of us pretty much want the same things. The problems, the dream, they all end up in similar categories, right? And why we want what we want is usually because we want to experience a feeling or a way of being or something to experience. And so those essence qualities are something to be experienced. And so that to me adds juice to whatever it is that I want to create, is because what I'm wanting is that feeling state, or to experience that state. Is this making sense, Carolyn?
Yes, yes, yes.
So to me, it becomes the essence that I'm kind of infusing, into my container of whatever it is that I want to be doing this stage of my life, this graduation party for my daughter. I play with them in that way to have them be guideposts for me that help me come back like, this is what I said that I wanted to experience here. And what is getting in the way of that? So one thing for the graduation, one of the things that I wanted to experience was just this feeling of being present and truly enjoying, and being able to be in the sense of adventure, because as we know, things don't always go as according to plan with the parties. Something happens, or whatever. So not get too over focused on everything being perfect, for instance. That's a big thing that will come in and sabotage what what will add suffering to the mix for me. And so when I'm able to be honing in on my whys of, like, for instance, I might want to like have everything go smoothly for the party, make sure I have enough food, or that the food is beautifully prepared, or whatever it is that I'm those little outer details are usually because I'm using that as a way to experience one of those essence qualities that I was talking about, of joy or presence. And so I can really start to notice that wherever I am might not be the flavor that I was originally looking for, that experience of joy, presence, adventure. And I can sense when I'm veering off of that a little bit quicker and come back to those original intentions about what I wanted, and be able to do it in a more playful way, and be like, whoops, okay, here's that, that perfectionist, my perfectionist is coming on the scene. And then I can learn and grow with myself, staying present with myself as I am, creating what I want and really seeing it appear, and then also stumbling a little bit and falling behind, and there's no behind, but falling away and coming back to, and so that's how I use them. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. And you can do the old sticky note trick. That's something that I do to, and I would say all of the things that you mentioned, Carolyn, sounded amazing. Bringing them into your meditation, putting them on a special card or something beautiful that you can see, to help keep them top of mind, or on the refrigerator is always a good place for me. So yeah, I would love to, hear what you guys come up with for that, how to play with that. Any other tosses or, oh, yes. Let me unmute you, Mom. Or actually, I can't unmute you.
Oh, I got it. It was so helpful. I didn't say a lot really, but just saying those things out loud, those words and what it is that I want to apply them to helped. And then to hear the other gals talking about what they were doing was really helpful to me. For some reason, I'm surprised at how much of a difference that made, even though I accidentally left the room prematurely. I was really enjoying that. Just the process of it was surprisingly helpful, saying it out loud, hearing what others, hearing from others too. So thanks.
Oh, I really appreciate that feedback. I had a hunch it might be that way. I know I had fun with my co-creating partner. All right. Okay, so this next step of, does anyone else want to pop in? I know it takes a minute to raise your electronic hand. You can always just raise your hand too. Okay, yeah, all good. So I loved the card. Did you love this card? When you figure out what you want, the first relevant question is, will you let it be possible for you? So that was what I was talking about with like the graduation party, for instance. Like, will I let it be possible for me? What gets in the way of me not allowing myself in my full presence, my full enjoyment, and my sense of adventure? And actually, there was a point where I really, I since beauty is one of my all-time favorite qualities that I love to bring in. I love dishes, wooden and marble and flowers from the garden on the platters of food, and to make things pretty. And at one point, and of course, once it all gets going, it can get into chaos land, joyful chaos as it was. But at one point, someone had brought half of a cake from the graduation ceremony, and it was in a cardboard box on the stove because there was no other counter space. And I just loved, actually, I was in that space of being able to be in presence and joy and adventure. And it just felt like an adventure. Like, wow, here's this, all this beautiful food that I carefully prepared, and the things that are up for chance, and was able to really just appreciate and have fun with that. And my daughter had mentioned, my older daughter, both of my daughters had said, wow, that was so fun. And the party was so great. And I really noticed, like, you didn't get stressed, or that was a lot to manage. You didn't get, I did have moments of that, but I really focused on these tools of looking at what I wanted to create and then being easy about it. It's not like it had to be a certain way. I let go of it. But I really was wanting to be playful with myself about what are the things that get in the way, that don't allow me to have the thing that I say that I want, that I think that I want. And then also playing with being in that larger field of manifesting, of allowing whatever is, whatever is there, being with whatever is there, loving whatever shows up. I guess we can put that out there, can't we, Michelle? That manifestation page, can we put that in the chat? Thank you. This idea of first discovering, like, what is it that we want? What, the first step really in manifestation is that, right? What do I want? And then flowing our energy toward that in any way. The feelings, anything that evokes feelings, that's when we do our vision boards, or a lot of like looking at the words that we created with our essence qualities. That's one part. And then moving into looking clearly, being willing to see clearly what I am getting. What do I have right now? What's currently showing up? And to be able to do that playfully took me some time. Actually, I could get pretty grumpy and hard on myself when I wasn't able to achieve what I thought I should be achieving. And self-judgment and blame could easily come in there. But when I'm able to be less attached, and I think the biggest shift in that is moving from what I think I should want, what the world wants me to want, what we call in Hendricks speak, the exogenous world, the outside in pressures of how to be and how we should be, versus the internal, what I want, what is without any of the trappings of what people want of me. So that is a huge shift, the huge shift. So when I'm able to actually allow myself to tune into what I want from my essence place, from the part of me that is eternal, the part of me that's been the same since I was a little child, when I'm able to tune into that place, what I want from that place, then it's easier for me to let go, because there isn't these external trappings of I'm not good enough from the outside world. So being clear about why I want what I want and where what I'm wanting is coming from. We have a lot of programming around our desires, and that desiring something isn't good. And so I think many times I see people, myself included, I've played this game myself, where it's too painful to not have what I want. So I just won't want anything. I just will stop wanting. Well, oh, I love that I'm seeing some nods there. Yes. And that, how does that work for anyone? How has it worked? Doesn't work very well, because we're meant, that's part of our vital life force flowing through us. We're meant to desire things. We're meant to want things. And somebody said the other day, the universe answers what we want in 3 ways. Yes, not yet, and I have something else in mind for you. And I really love how that fits in with this manifestation short form sheet. It's like, the things, maybe not yet, if it's not showing up the way you want it. And then being open to this or something better, what I want, or whatever the universe's idea is that is most in alignment with my authentic self, with my essence. What is an opening up to trust in that has been next level delight for me. That has been the most delightful thing. In fact, now I'm spending a lot more time wanting to play with the universe in that joyful co-creation of like, well, what's your idea? Okay, well, I think I want this, but what's your idea? I'm open to see, and let's see what's coming up. Oh, I'm doing that thing again. Oh, okay, so that's been really, really fun. So yeah, so looking at, and I love the way the materials, I have told Katie this numerous times, but I can't say it enough. The materials that they so generously share with all of us, the freebies on the website, I really hope anyone who's watching this is taking full advantage of all of the incredible resources that are available. I've studied lots of different modalities and trained with different teachers and have gotten lots of amazing things, but the Hendricks material covers everything so well. Like, it's just amazing to me how complete this body of work is in every single facet. And so I feel just so grateful to be able to have these tools. Oh, the handouts are wonderful. Yes. And I'm happy about that too. So these are things for you definitely to be able to play with. And that is what I hope you do is to play with these. What I realize that we're at the tail end. I'd love to spend a little time talking about the nuts and bolts of how you actually put more of what you want into your daily life, because I think that it's easy for it to fall by the wayside. So a few ideas and things that I have played with that help me with this is, like we talked about, the sticky note. Believe it or not, the sticky note really is helpful. There's so much coming at all of you, all of us, all the time. So I would love for us to be just so gentle and kind with ourselves that things don't always stay. The brain is not the best at holding on to stuff. It's great for generating ideas and visioning, not so great at holding, storing things. And so externalizing wherever possible is a good idea, writing your notes and having them places that you can see. But I like to think about when I'm planning my week, and I'm thinking about, or you can look at this, however you most like to think about it. There is some research that happened that shows that we overestimate what we can get done in a day or a week, but we highly underestimate what we could accomplish in a year. And so these little bits actually add up over time. And so when you think about in terms of seasonally or monthly, opening up more than just, this is not just a day or a week, but bigger than that, and looking at ways that you can support yourself in bringing more of what you want into your life. So when we decide, so for me, with my example of wanting to release whatever's unnecessary from my body, what that looks like is me prioritizing movement and awareness around what I'm putting in my mouth and supporting myself with prepping some things ahead of time is what I'm realizing is really going to be helpful for me. So those would be some things that you can take into what we would call, I think, these things that we want would be more like a project. They take more than one step to accomplish, right? And some of these might be long, overarching things that we want over our lifetime, but wherever we can pull out something that's actionable, something we could actually do. Don't run. How do you not run? Well, you walk, right? So really getting clear to find those pockets where you might be telling yourself what not to do, and moving more into what you can do, what's actionable, what you could actually do. And so choosing some things and plugging them in, actually making space for them on your calendar is really, I think, what makes a huge difference. And also creating space. Like when I have things so packed in, which I do like to do a lot of things. So when that happens, when I have a lot going on, I can easily forget my overarching goals, and then there's no time. I haven't prepared anything. I didn't make time for a walk with friends, or to go to the gym, or whatever it is that I wanted to do. So really kind of front loading myself, like really giving myself every opportunity to make it easy for me to do some of the things that would be helpful in creating more of what I want. Is this helpful for y'all? I know it seems pretty elementary, but yes. Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah. But is there anything anyone else wants to pop in? Any thoughts or?
I'd like to, Andy here. I've generated a bunch of ideas, but I'm going to put something beside my bed. So when I go to sleep, that I'm going to have that list there, and I'm just going to let myself soft focus on it and just infuse that into my dream time. Thank you so much. I'm loving this.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. I'm loving your enthusiasm. And what a great idea. That helps me a lot too, actually. To look at what it is that I want to create or feel or do the night before, or just, there's what a great idea. I love that, to bring it into the dream time. Michelle, did you raise your hand?
I did, and now I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Oh, it's so beautiful to hear your perspective on all of this and the ease of what you're sharing, like you're sharing ease, like you're sharing ideas, but you're sharing your ease and spaciousness. And I'm osmosing that. And I see other people nodding too. So that's what I wanted to say. So thank you. Like, I feel infused with, I can do this. Like, this is, yeah, this is good.
Oh, I love that. Oh, Linda, did you, I'm not sure who raised their hand first.
That's me.
Okay.
Well, I just want to say it's so wonderful to see you, because your enthusiasm and your bubbliness, and you're radiant doing this, and it's really lovely to see. And I had such a good time with Lydia. It was very funny how she and I were very compatible, good mirrors for each other. So I always find that coincidence a lot of fun. But I appreciate this reminds me of years ago learning how to set an intention, so what you're doing is setting up a framework. You're picking a word that sets up the framework for your day, for your week, for whatever it is. So
Yes.
well done. So this was fun. Yes.
Thank you, Linda. I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, I'm so happy to be awake.
Yeah, thank you. And Alice.
I'm glad you're awake too, Linda. I just wanted to touch on you were asking about, what other suggestions you might have to sort of build on that actionable thing. And I think that, taking that small step, but celebrating it, not forgetting to celebrate the little win, and it can be a little, funky victory dance that you do, or, something more on a grander scale. But it's important to do that, to really recognize that it is each step that actually gets you there, and to appreciate that part about that you did that. Because that's something I did not used to do. I would say, well, geez, it's only step one of 12 steps, Alice, and you're like already, knocking yourself down. And I think it's really important just to say, appreciate you in that moment for taking that action, because it takes courage to do it.
Oh, I'm so happy that you said that, Alice. Thank you.
Yeah.
So good. I know we're at time. I just was loving the comment about thank you for the opportunity to move out of my focus on the task-driven to-do list and raise up my vision to my overarching desires. That is just beautifully said. I love that. Thank you. Oh, thank you all for being here. I'm so grateful to you, and I had so much fun with you. I hope I just hope you play with this and appreciate yourself, as Alice said. And I hope to see you on more Big Leap or Hendrix things. And thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you so much. And feel free to unmute if you want to say thank you. So appreciate what a wonderful class. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Diana.
Loved it. Thank you, everybody.
Diana. Thank you.
This was
Powerful,
wonderful.
powerful,
Thank
powerful.
you.
Thank